Welcome back to Tale Recaps. Today I will show you a French comedy, horror film from 2021. Titled Some Like It Rare. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown a husband and wife named Vincent and Sophie. Both of them used to run a butcher shop, but at that time the condition of their shop was very bad, because their work was completely stopped. And during this time, some people break into their shop to protest against the killing of animals. And they attack them and run away. Then Sophie meets her friend Stephanie, which tells her that I think you deserve a better person than Vincent, because he hasn't done anything for you yet. During this time we find out that Stephanie's husband Mark has a lot of butcher shops, from which he earns a good amount of money, which is why he disrespects Vincent and Sophie so badly, which makes them very angry and they leave. Meanwhile, she is talking about breaking up with Vincent, which makes him even more angry. Then his eyes fall on a man walking on the road. Seeing him, Vincent recognizes that he is the same man who attacked his shop. That is why he is seeking revenge. He chases after the man with his car and tries to harm him, due to which the man is crushed by his car and killed very badly. However, they are both terrified to see this, but still they decide to go with his dead body in their car. At the same time they decide that they will dismember his dead body and throw it in different places. And when Vincent cuts off the man's body parts to do so, then Vincent's dog eats a piece of his ear. He is very surprised to see this and gives him another piece to eat, which he begins to eat with great relish. The next morning when Vincent is late for the shop, so he asks his wife, "Have you sold anything yet?" But before that she could say something, that's when a lady arrives. She says, "I want the same meat as you just gave me because it tastes so good." Sophie is quite surprised to hear this and she asks Vincent to check it. After eating which she is quite surprised, because it was so delicious, she asks Vincent what kind of meat it is. He says it's Iranian pork meat. After the lady leave, Sophie asks Vincent again about the meat. Then he says that I turned the dead body of this wagon into meat, so that I could sell to people slowly, and that was his meat. However, he seems to be removing the meat from there. But Sophie forbids him to do so. And she says people will love it because it's delicious. And to a large extent, this also comes true. Because of this meat, their sales had increased a lot. Even a police officer buys the meat from them. Then at night we see Vincent cooking and eating this meat. That's when Sophie arrives while Vincent is enjoying the meat. So Sophie says, "I already told you it's delicious. And even if we sell it at double the price, people will still buy it." The next day their daughter arrives with her boyfriend Lucas to meet with them, where they find out that their daughter's boyfriend is vegan. That's why their daughter has stopped eating meat, when they find out that he works in a vegan restaurant. So they go to the vegan restaurant, because there they were looking for a man who was completely vegan which they can use to get meat. Then they see the hotel manager there, which Vincent pursues. However, Vincent was about to attack him, but because of his screams, he gets scared and gets in his car and runs away. After this, Vincent's wife explained him, "If we want to save our shop, you have to become a serial killer." Then the next day they become a vegan and ask to stop eating meat. There they meet a man named Joshua, who asks them to join his vegan team. So Vincent and Sophie arrive at his destination to meet him. So here they wanted to kill him, but when they see his comrades they stop there. Hemera, a girl in his team, says that he met a man whose father had a lot of meat shops and I stole the key of one of them. And when Vincent finds out that the shop belongs to Mark and not to anyone else, so he joined their team, he leaves with them. Then they all arrive at the store wearing animal masks, and together they completely destroy the whole shop. Then Vincent and Sophie are sitting in a restaurant. At that moment, a fight breaks out between them, which causes Vincent to leave Sophie and leave. And then a waiter from the restaurant comes to the Sophie, who talks to the Sophie, and he comes to drop her off at home, and he even tries to chat with Sophie. Here the Sophie finds out the waiter is a vegan, so she traps him in her words and takes him home. Although Vincent is upset to see this, she tells him that we can kill him. But when Sophie is distracting the waiter, Sophie thinks that her husband will come and attack the waiter. But Vincent clearly refuses to do so, which makes his wife very angry, and she says, "I can't live with you because you don't love me." After hearing this, when Vincent leaves the room, he sees the waiter who is completely naked. Vincent is furious and strikes him on the head with a flower pot, killing him mercilessly. After that they both make pieces of meat from dead body and are very happy. The next morning, Sophie gets a call from her friend Stephanie, which tells her about the destruction of her shop. However, Sophie knew all about it because they were the ones who, along with the vegan team, broke into his shop and set it on fire. And because Vincent and Sophie's shop was doing so well, they decide to kill new people one by one, what they were really enjoying. But when they both call to meet a wagon named Winnie, so before he can kill him, the boy finds out the truth. From which he starts to run away, but due to fear Winnie has a heart attack. And he falls to the ground right there. In the next scene, Vincent and Sophie go to Mark's house, where they also get their shop meat tested, which Mark likes very much. He then asks Vincent about the farm from which he buys meat. But Vincent says that you are my opponent, why should I tell you about it? To which Mark says, how are you competing with me, because last year I made a lot of money. To which Vincent says that we feed people good quality meat, while you give them anything to eat. Upon hearing this, Mark becomes very angry, which leads to a fight between the two. And Vincent angrily cuts off Mark's ear and starts chewing. Both Mark and Stephanie are shocked to see this, how he is chewing and eating the flesh of a human being. However, Vincent spits out a piece of ear to distract them. And he says you should have had a wagon. And then they both leave, and start hunting new people. In the next scene, the two go on a picnic, where they meet a man. Because it was a wagon, they both hit it. After which Vincent and Sophie arrive at a wagon party, where they were trying to find their next prey. There they find Lucas, who is surprised to see the two of them at a wagon party. And he says that you both have not closed the shop yet. And it also says that many wagons are being killed. And this is all a conspiracy of butchers. And for that we will allow a sit-in. Because the next number can be ours too. A man present there hears all these words of theirs. In the next scene, we see Vincent and Sophie chasing a girl to kill her. Although she tries to escape, they both kill her. And when Vincent is cutting the girl's flesh at night, a police officer comes to their shop. Seeing this, he gets very nervous. However, in the meanwhile, he manages to send this police officer away from there. But after seeing all this, he was very scared. So he tells the Sophie that we should stop all this. Because we did it to save our shop. And now that our shop is completely safe, we should close it all. Before we become fully psycho or cannibal. Because now I want to eat even when I see living people. And then Lucas comes to their house to apologize. Here the Sophie wanted Vincent to kill Lucas too. But Vincent sends Lucas out of there. And he says, do you have any idea how much our daughter loves him? Then the next day when they both arrive at the shop, the customers who come there demand the same old meat. So Vincent says that now we have run out of that meat. That's why everyone in the shop goes back. After which Vincent also goes out of the shop with his dog, and when Sophie is alone in the shop, then the members of wagon team come there and kidnap Sophie. On the other hand, when Vincent sees the car of these people, he knows that these people have come to know that Sophie and Vincent are butchers. And there was no one else telling the wagon team all this, but the man at the wagon party who was listening to them. And then when they were about to kill the Sophie. So Vincent comes there with a weapon. And by attacking all of them, he starts killing them in a very bad way. However, during this time Joshua also attacked Vincent and wounded him. But until then, the Sophie also frees herself and attacks him with a hook and kills him. But then we see that the truth of Vincent and the Sophie comes to the fore, which is told by Stephanie and Mark. Because they suspected the same day when Vincent chewed Mark's ear. Then with that the movie ends here. You can subscribe Tale Recaps for watching more videos. Thanks for watching.